Hi, welcome to Facebook Live. I'm Betsy Hughes with Track Shack. I'm here with Kelly Frank, an amazing physical therapist from AdventHealth. And tonight, ladies, we are talking about pelvic health and all the questions that you might have always wanted to ask, but might have felt a little uncomfortable about. And we're also supporting and promoting the Lady Track Shack 5K, which is this Saturday. It's a ladies-only event, and we're promoting breast cancer health as well. And we're raising money for the Breast Cancer Care Fund at AdventHealth, and we're super excited. The race is still open. We've got registration available at trackshack.com. I'm wearing the race shirt, so we really hope to see you there. And when you cross that finish line, we've got an amazing medal.
Very nice.
Yeah, so it's going to be awesome. But tonight's really extra special because tonight's all about ladies and pelvic health. And Kelly works a lot with women, pregnant women, postpartum women, and anybody, men or women, I guess you told me, that have pelvic health issues.
Yeah, pelvic pain, incontinence, instability, a lot of things we can talk about.
So we're hoping tonight that we get questions from y'all, but if not, we can just figure some things out that we know bother us and maybe bother you too. So, you know, if you're a runner and you've had any issues running with leakage, ladies with constipation, Kelly's here to answer those questions too.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're excited tonight. We hope to hear from some of you. You might be down at Track Shack registering right now, so turn your phones on, your computers, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Awesome.
Yeah. So one thing that we were talking about before we started was the word prolapse. And I was sort of shocked to find out that both men and women can suffer from prolapse.
Yes. Yeah.
I really thought that was just a female thing.
Yeah. No. You know, obviously we all have kind of a lot of the same stuff kind of going on down there. I did
props.
Bring my bonus. Yes. If you guys haven't obviously taken a look like this, you probably haven't, but I just want people to know that we do have like muscles and support systems down there. And, you know, people think it might just be a pregnancy thing where you get prolapse. But we have plenty of people that have never had children that do get prolapse. And typically it is like those endurance athletes, maybe people that are doing like heavy weightlifting, you know, anything where you're kind of increasing that pressure in your tummy and different holding pressure, even like constipation, like having a really bad bowel movement over and over again.
So different parts of your body can have a prolapse, not just a uterus, but also a bladder.
Yeah, bladder, rectum. Yeah, they can all kind of just start to descend.
So physical therapy helps strengthen those muscles, teach you how to do that.
Yes.
And that's a good part of what you do.
That is a good part. Yeah. I think a lot of people, you know, the word Kegel is like such a buzzword in pelvic health, and that, you know, that may or may not be, you know, the actual treatment that we give you. There's a lot kind of going on that we're looking at. We're looking at, you know, your toileting posture. We're looking at your diet. We're kind of looking at a lot of different things to see how we can better help that.
That's great. I didn't even think about physical therapy and considering nutrition with getting better from something like that.
And, you know, we offer kind of like little tidbits, but we are always super, you know, on board to refer out and get, you know, someone the help they need. Because we certainly don't know everything. So we want to work as a team.
Well, we all work as a team. We work very closely with AdventHealth, and we just love our relationship. So a lot of our listeners that even if you just tuned in, I should say, to Facebook Live, welcome. You know, we're here, Kelly's PT with AdventHealth. I'm Betsy at Track Shack. We're talking to runners, we're talking to walkers, anyone interested in pelvic health. And of course, we're big on running. And I think we do have a question. Does running help relieve constipation?
Absolutely, yes. Any kind of movement is probably going to help constipation. So just getting out there and running, walking, moving, those are going to be super beneficial to help with that.
Right. Absolutely. So I know that is like a huge thing with our runners. Sometimes it's not even constipation, it's the opposite. And they're out on a long run and they've got to stop a few times. And I don't know if there's treatment for that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, so it could be The opposite of constipation could be, we could be running into the urinary incontinence or even like the fecal incontinence.
We hear about that a lot, actually. I mean, when women are willing to talk at the store, and I've actually had some women say that they like to stop that up with medication, and I feel like that's not wise.
It's not a good long-term solution, typically. And even, working at the shop and coming into seeing these runners, they're clearly athletes. They're clearly active, and they care about their bodies, and they care about their health. So why not kind of work the muscle that's in charge of all of that, kind of working those pelvic floor muscles to get them stronger so they can support, all that stuff and maintain that good continence, whether it's fecal or urinary.
Right, right. And I know as you mature, some women do have more problems running with the incontinence. And I know a lot of women actually have to wear pads.
Yes, yeah.
And I don't think that that's uncommon anymore.
It's not. I mean, just go walk into your local grocery or supermarket. The aisles are huge with pads, like for both men and women. So clearly it's something that's going on that we're kind of just not talking about. And I don't know why, because it's a huge market.
So if anybody was interested in coming to see you as a physical therapist, how could they reach out to you? Could you give your email?
Yes, yeah. So you can always reach out to us. We're AdventHealth now, so our new email is ahsportsmedcentralflorida.com is our website. You can always reach me personally on my work email. It's kelly.frank@adventhealth.com. Happy to take any questions or anything like that via email. And we have a couple different locations where we have some pelvic therapists. So we have some awesome ladies in Celebration, awesome ladies over in East Orlando, and then downtown we have.
Oh, that's great, because Orlando certainly has grown over the years.
Exactly.
Everybody's just so spread out. It's wonderful that you have all those different areas.
Yes.
I know with the sports rehab too, there's probably 15 different areas around town.
We have a lot.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We're trying to reach as many people as we can.
That's great.
To help as many people as we can.
That's great. Good. So just some. Here's a good one. Sneezing.
Yes.
So I know sometimes, it's the whole leg cross thing when you sneeze.
Yes.
Just in case.
Yes. Yeah. So the leg cross thing. I mean, that's not using your pelvic floor. Like I said, like this is your pelvic floor. It's kind of internal. So if you're using your legs, like that's the muscles kind of out here, or you're using your butt muscles up here. We're not really kind of working the actual pelvic floor, which is the ones that are going to kind of control that.
So you have to learn how to use that muscle.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, we have a question over here. So will running affect breastfeeding?
Oh, man.
That's a really, really
I know
good
you're a new mommy.
I am.
Penelope's a year old.
Next week.
Oh,
Happy
that's
birthday,
exciting.
Yeah.
Well, my baby is 32 years old. And I'll tell you, there was nobody to answer those questions back when I had my first baby. Yeah. Because I started running, probably 6 weeks after I had Emma.
Yeah.
And I had some issues, but I never had any problems with the whole breastfeeding.
Yeah, so and breastfeeding is, we also go talk to like our lactation support groups. They meet weekly, which is such a great group of women who get to bring their babies over at the main hospitals, the main campuses. And that question even came up yesterday, like how can I kind of improve breastfeeding and things like that. Activity, we want to get mobile again. You have this kid and you stay at home. My husband was pretty happy. Our credit card bill was so low.
Oh, there you go.
I did nothing.
Well, you drank water though. You got to drink a ton of water when you're nursing.
Staying hydrated, but running can definitely
help. And what I felt when I was nursing and running, I would nurse the baby right before I went out for a run, and I didn't really have anyone to watch my kids, so I ran with both kids and baby joggers for over 8 years. First one jogger, then two, then down to one again, and both babies. When I was nursing, I would nurse. I would go ahead and put my support bra on, and we do have amazing bras at the store. And nursing moms love our bras.
So you guys have like a sale coming up?
Well, we do. We have bra fitting night tomorrow night at Track Shack.
Yeah.
Yes, and we're going to have a discount on the bras, but more than that, we're going to fit you.
Oh.
And for our nursing moms,
that's really important.
The bras have Velcro closures on the front.
Nice.
So it's really awesome if you're nursing and then you need to jump into your run, you know, you only have half an hour before you have to go to work or something. So yes. So tomorrow night at Track Shack, we're doing bra fitting night. And again, this is Facebook Live. I'm Betsy Hughes with Track Shack, Kelly Frank with AdventHealth. We're discussing pelvic health tonight. And we're also encouraging you to register for the Lady Track Shack race this Saturday. So it looks like we have a question.
Yes. Okay, so strengthening pelvic floor muscles.
Can we squeeze right now? Will that be good?
You can. That's not squeezing. That's a lot going on.
Okay.
That's definitely not.
I thought it would help.
Maybe. Not, probably not. No, so, you know, like I mentioned, we talked about like those Kegels, like the idea of that. So many women and men are just not doing it correctly at all.
Apparently.
It's okay. But, you know, sometimes that's definitely not even like my first line of treatment even. You know, what if your pelvic floor muscles are too tight and then they're unable to kind of fully relax? You know, kind of like if you were doing a bicep curl, you're not just going to do bicep curls here. You have to fully relax to be able to fully contract. So it might be an issue of having a little bit of pain, but you're having some incontinence because those muscles are just, you know, it's like when you're cold and you're just, you know, you're too kind of tight and you like go and you're like, oh, I'm kind of weak and kind of sore. So being able to effectively, efficiently do your Kegels, super important. In addition to kind of training the rest of like that whole pelvic floor, you know, because we have the rest of the house. We have front door, which is our abdomen, the side doors, which are our obliques, you know, our lower back, we have our diaphragm. So it's, you know, just pelvic health is not just kind of like looking literally at the pelvis and what's inside. We're looking at everything. So especially for runners, like we're looking at their diaphragms, we're looking at their obliques. A lot of my runners are just
when they come see you, like for the first time, they see you about their pelvic health and they're having some issues. You probably do a whole evaluation.
Yes.
And ask a lot of questions, and hopefully they're honest when they answer.
And by that time, they're pretty honest.
Yeah, because they know they need to be there.
Yes.
What type of clothes should they wear to an appointment like that? Should they wear their running clothes?
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, does that help? I mean, it'd be silly to be in a dress, right?
I mean, you can. Anything comfortable. Yeah, you know, just be whatever makes you comfortable.
Okay.
You know, we all have private rooms. It's a one-on-one evaluation,
nice.
Which is super nice. And, you know, depending on kind of like where the history kind of takes us, then we decide what kind of intervention to take and kind of assess the muscles and kind of go from there and plan a very specific treatment for each of our patients.
Well, that's great. I like the idea of the private rooms.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even think about that because the only type of therapy I've done is more for, you know, injuries, and you're usually in a room with lots of tables, and that would be pretty awkward. So the private room is nice. Good.
Yeah.
Good. So we have some new folks joining us, so welcome everybody.
Oh, hey, I recognize those names.
Yeah.
This is on Instagram Live as well.
Oh, hi everyone on Instagram Live. How much fun is that? Yeah, we did a foam rolling clinic last night at Track Shack, and I know one of our participants did some Instagramming.
Nice. So another question, when should you go to a PT rather than an OB or a primary care doctor?
That's a great question.
So in a lot of the states, we have something called direct access. So depending on your insurance, you're allowed to go see a physical therapist. This is for any physical therapy.
Right. I did know about
that.
Yeah. We talk about that a lot at the store.
Yeah, you can see anybody for 30 days with, you know, whatever injury you might have. And then, you know, of course, we want your healthcare team to be involved. So we do a really, you know, good job of really trying to reach out to your OBs, to your Urogynes.
Urogynes? Urogynes. Oh, I never heard it like that.
Yeah, trying to get them involved in the care too, because we want them to know that we're an important part, they're an important part.
Right.
You know, we want to take care of the patient. That's our goal. It's supposed to get those men and women healthy and back where they need to be.
Well, that's great. That's good.
Yeah.
What else is there? Did you see another one? You're very good at this.
I'm trying. I think I'm on the side that I have to scroll.
Yeah, the scrolling side. So I mentioned earlier that I ran after both my kids, and after my first baby, it really took a good 6 weeks to where I felt comfortable running. I was out walking right away.
Nice.
But then with the second baby, I really only waited about a month, and I felt great.
But you're a runner.
Okay, so that's allowed because usually that 6 week thing is sort of what you always hear.
Yeah, I mean it depends on so many things. You know, like what happened during that pregnancy? Were you on bed rest? Was there any back pain, any hip pain, any complications? And then were you like really a runner before you know you gave birth, or were you just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna start right now. You know, I think that as long as your doctor approves it, your medical team approves it, and you are a runner, go ahead. Yeah, if you feel good about it, that's totally fine.
Well, I just know that your hips obviously have to widen while you're pregnant so that you can give birth. And I had always heard that 6-week message about getting everything back to normal.
Yes.
So,
and it's not just for the hips. I mean, it's just for those internal organs that have just, you know, carried a baby for like a hot minute.
I know. I love to tell my ladies who come into the store and they're worried about not losing their weight right away after a baby. You're pregnant for 9 months. Give yourself a break. You can have 9 months to get back into shape. You don't have to jump right into it.
Yeah, no, you don't.
Because I do know some of my customers have jumped a little bit too soon, and they've had some hip pain after that.
Yes.
You know, they're on a treadmill. They put it on an elevation, and all of a sudden they're in major pain.
Yeah.
So,
okay. We have a question.
How do you explain how to do Kegel exercises?
Yeah.
Ooh, we can practice while we're doing that.
So what I kind of start telling my patients is it's, like I said, those muscles are internal. So a lot of people kind of think that it should be kind of going like all the way up.
Right.
But it's something that it's an invisible exercise.
Oh, so, one of those. I've heard about those.
It's the idea of trying to stop the flow of urine, or even like trying to pick up like a blueberry with your vagina, which it's a weird analogy.
Yeah, but if it works, it works.
You know, or even like squeezing around like your husband or your partner or something like that. You know, those are kind of like some of the more common things we say. And even for men, it's almost like you're walking into like a really cold like body of water, and you don't want like your testicles to touch, and it's like that inner elevation.
So your body basically is still.
Yes.
So now I could do the Kegels and nobody would know it. Right, you're doing them right now. So I'm going to do them too then, because really we could do them when we drive, right? Yeah. Or maybe at a stoplight so you don't practice.
But we also want to do. I definitely like, you know, our practice, we really push for more fundamental Kegels. So doing them in whatever position you're having an issue with. So unless you're just leaking all the time just sitting, no, you're so lucky. Not that.
No, so lucky. No, but I know so many people.
But if it's running, we need to practice those plyometrics, like those lateral movements, those sharp turns, like that's when you're really interested in doing that. So versus people just think, yes, sitting at a stoplight is awesome. But let's do it standing. Let's do it going from sit to stand. Let's do it in the middle of our run, you know, kind of things like that.
So when they're at physical therapy and you give them those exercises, they're in the private room doing them.
Yes.
Especially if they're doing those, like you say, sit to stand. That's so interesting. I mean, I've never
But we have like a little tiny gym, and we can go there, and, you know, like I said, it's an invisible exercise. So it's like the best thing ever.
That's great. And it's Kegel, not Kegel, or is it Kegel and not Kegel?
So it's Dr. Kegel.
Kegel. Okay.
Like a bagel.
Yeah. I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
That's sort of funny.
We have a question here.
Oh,
so
good.
How do you balance properly hydrating for a race versus not going to the potties constantly during the race?
Yes.
You know, I think it probably just comes down to like the support and the muscle structure you have. Because obviously your body needs that hydration and that support. And doing an activity, you're going to your muscles need that water. They need that hydration.
Exactly.
So,
and I think it's important too. You're not just hydrating an hour before the race. You've got to think about that race the day before.
Right.
What you have for lunch, how much you drink at lunch, at dinner, even before you go to bed. And maybe it's not just water. Maybe it's an electrolyte. And that can help process the hydration through your kidneys a little better, so that you don't have to go all the time.
Yeah. And then who do you use for pelvic health therapy? Pelvic health therapists.
Yes, at AdventHealth.
At AdventHealth, yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and like I said, you guys are welcome to email me, kelly.frank@adventhealth.com.
That's good.
Our website's AH Central Florida with just the FL.com, or come see Betsy.
Absolutely. We're
She'll
friends.
send you my way.
Yep. And
I'm like down the street.
Yeah. Actually, you're in 3 locations. So.
And we're in 3 locations.
Yeah.
So
email Kelly and see where she is, so you can come see her.
Exactly.
And there are other therapists in town, and I'm sure they're just as good as Kelly, depending on where you live. You can reach out to AdventHealth to see where you could go.
And just, I mean, even nationally, I have tons of friends who are pelvic therapists. You know,
nationally, that's awesome.
Yeah, we're all over. So it's something that.
Where did you go to school?
I went to the University of St. Augustine for health sciences.
Oh, okay.
And then I kind of started to specialize. So it's something you can specialize in.
Sure.
Is
well, I
pelvic
imagine
health.
you'd have to.
Yeah. So extra coursework. Yeah.
That's okay. It's worth it.
Oh, it's so
all
worth
the
it.
ladies.
It's so worth it. Yeah. I love it.
Good. So are you coming out to the race on Saturday?
I would. I'm celebrating my mom's 60th birthday.
Oh, that's awesome.
Birthday, Mom. Everybody's celebrating
that's
her birthday.
great.
So.
We're celebrating my mom's 90th
Oh, wow.
on the last Track Shack Running Series race this year.
Nice.
And AdventHealth is part of our Winter Park Road Race. And
that's awesome.
my mom, 90 years old that day, will do the 2 mile.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I will tell you, Mom's not going to see Facebook Live because she doesn't do that. But Mom had a prolapse a few years ago, and it was a visual prolapse.
Yes.
And you know, we got great help at AdventHealth. I called right away to make sure we set up the doctor's appointments.
Yeah. We see a lot of
I didn't realize you see those things.
Yes.
So that was a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah, but it's something that we can definitely help and either improve or maintain. Really like only the more severe cases require like a surgery. But we work super close with our surgeons and our doctors to make sure you're getting the care that you need.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I think we have some other questions from some of your fans, it looks like.
Yeah.
So Kelly, you have 3 offices in town.
Yes. So AdventHealth, we practice pelvic therapy at 3 locations. So Celebration over at East Orlando, and then our downtown office, kind of like located directly across from the Women's Hospital. So we're readily available.
That's awesome. And we have another question about how to get an appointment. You have to see a primary care doctor first. And if you just start tuning in to Facebook Live, we're talking about pelvic health. And it's really important for everyone to know in the state of Florida, you can go see a physical therapist without a doctor prescription for the first 30 days.
Yes.
You just have to make sure your insurance is okay with that group.
Most insurances are
okay, that's super.
Yeah, trying to cut down the cost of healthcare, trying to help you kind of get the help you need quickly, which is super important.
Do you ever have new mommies come in with their babies when they need help? Oh, good. You get to hold the babies.
Yes. Yeah, we love it. Please bring your babies.
Oh, that's awesome.
Please bring your babies. It's awesome.
I like it when my customers bring their babies because then I get my baby fix. Because my baby's 15 months old, my grandbaby, but she's in Tallahassee.
No, it's awesome. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been working on a patient, whether it's for pelvic pain and we're doing like some kind of manual technique, or even in our little gym and kind of working, and I'm just kind of hanging out with their baby or playing with their kids, or
great.
We love it.
That's great.
We want to make it easy for you. So if you are a new mom and you've got the time off, or even bring your husbands, bring anybody. We don't care.
That's good. Yeah. That's really good that you make it very, very comfortable. We try to do that at Track Shack too, with shoe fittings and all. We have a toy area. Yeah. And again, if it's a baby and they're fussing, I like to take over.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. No, like I said, my daughter is 1 now, so I mean, she's still the best. But definitely seeing those tiny little babies, and you're like, oh.
Isn't it really amazing to think that Penelope was that tiny just a year ago?
I can't. Yeah.
And your body created that little child and gave birth. It's pretty cool, isn't it?
It is pretty cool.
Yeah. But those babies do create some pelvic health issues sometimes, and that's okay. We love them anyway.
Thank you, Penelope. Thank you. Thanks for that. So, what was this? So, insurance. Yeah. So I think it's maybe like 27. It's a lot of states that do offer direct access. And
that's the word.
That's the direct. Yeah. So direct access for physical therapy, to be able to see a licensed doctor of physical therapy for 30 days regarding a condition that you might have, pending your insurance. There are certain insurances that do require a medical referral, but we always try to touch base with the doctors.
That's so great.
Let them know, hey, by the way, your patient's here. They have this issue. Maybe it's too sensitive for them to talk about, but we want to know that we're treating them too.
Right. That's great. So, just to let people understand, you don't have to go to your doctor first to get a prescription. Right. That's what I think people are really shocked at when they first hear about direct access.
Yeah.
So it's really an amazing thing that the state finally came on board with.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's kind of cool. Yeah. And then even mentioning earlier about our hips being unstable or unstable. Depending if this is your problem. So we can also offer different support belts. That can kind of go around the lower part of your hips to kind of help with any ligamentous laxity while we kind of work on muscular stability. Either
now, should they also wear a belt? Pregnant women wear a belt like that when they're running, or
They can, yeah. It depends on how strong they are.
Okay.
Typically, like I said, runners, they kind of always train in this like forward, backward,
Yes, that's true.
progression. So typically their hips, which have to go, different ways, aren't super stable. And then you have all those hormones and all that ligament laxity. Basically everything is going to kind of stretch out a little bit. So if we can kind of put some support here and here
while they're pregnant.
That might be, it just might be more comfortable.
Because I do remember back in the day when I had my babies, they did have belts, but not that fancy.
Yeah, these are nice. I like, I did. I had a lot of hip instability, so I definitely wore this, and I was happy to wear it. I remember going to Publix, and I had it on, and I don't care if people see it.
Yeah.
And this
lady, so it's outside your clothes.
You can wear it underneath if you want, but I wore it, so I was like, whatever, I'm going to wear it outside. And this lady behind the deli counter making I ate sandwiches. I love sandwiches. I was pregnant. But she was like, "What is that?" I was like, "Oh, it's an SI belt. Like it's for your hips when you're pregnant, if you have hip pain." And she's like, "I'm pregnant," and like kind of came out from the thing, and she's like, "Where can I get that?" I'm like, "Oh,
that's great."
So it was, even just the awareness of like clearly this lady who's standing there having this issue.
Oh, and can you imagine?
She has no idea
Standing that long when you're pregnant. Yeah, that's great that you were able to help her.
Absolutely.
I think it's important to be able to talk to people no matter where you are.
Oh yeah.
And Publix is a perfect example. I see so many people in line at Publix, and we talk about everything. Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome because we're educating constantly.
We are. Yeah.
And it's important,
especially
we want to keep everybody healthy.
Yeah, it's something that people. I don't know why we don't talk about this. Like it's something we do every day. We use this part of our body very normally, very healthily, every part of our day. We don't talk about it.
It's true. Now I have a funny question. I just thought of this myself. I don't know if anyone else will like it that's listening. But when you go to an event, you usually have to use a portalette.
Yes.
So us ladies don't like to touch those seats. So we learn how to squat.
Yes.
And are there any specific muscles we should be working on to make sure that we're squatting properly? Because we don't like those portalettes, but there's no option.
I know.
Do you know what I mean?
And you're going to hate what I'm about to say.
Oh, God, don't say sit on the seat.
So sit on the seat.
Oh, no. No way.
Yes.
Really?
Think about what you should be doing when you're going to the bathroom. It should be a relaxing moment. And especially if you're either having to number one or number two or whatever it is, like there's no way, you can't tell me you're relaxed squatting over a toilet.
No, that's true, but it seems a little cleaner.
I know. Well,
so put the toilet paper
down
first.
You're not going to catch anything.
That is so not what I thought you were going to say.
I know. I'm sorry.
No, it's good. It's good. Did y'all hear that, ladies? That's a piece of information I don't think anyone's ever asked.
I know. Hovering and squatting is just, it's not good for toileting habits. We need to have good toileting habits.
What do you think about squatty potties?
I love them. I have two in my house.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Yes, I have two in my house. My husband hates it. He needs to use it. I'm sorry, but he needs to.
I wonder if he's watching.
He probably is rolling his eyes. I love it. I'm sorry.
So you mentioned toileting posture
earlier.
So it's true that squatty potty does help you with your toileting posture?
Natalie likes squatty potties.
They're awesome. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people talk about it now, so.
Yeah, I mean, and you don't have to get the squatty potty. You can get just a turned over trash can. Like I remember being in the hospital, and they give you your drugs and things like that, and they have all these really high ADA compliant toilets, and my legs are dangling, and I needed to go to the bathroom. And I was like, "Give me that trash can." So I felt like I was probably like annoying the cleaning lady, because every time she'd turn the trash can back over.
So interesting.
Or a step stool if you have small kids or grandkids, just pull it on over. Yeah, you don't have to get.
So if you're potty training your kids, it might be good to have something like that.
Absolutely.
To give them training skills right away.
You want their knees, up a little bit, a little bit above the hip.
I've learned a lot about this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, most of the world, squats to use the bathroom.
That's true. When we went to Japan for a half marathon years ago, we went in right to the mayor's office, and I was having my period, and I had to use the restroom, and it was a hole in the ground.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
I mean, that's,
that is, you're right. I think it's like that.
Yeah.
Many
so
countries.
Just using good toileting posture is something that could even help a number of issues kind of going in.
Well, I'm glad I asked about that.
Yeah.
So do we have any other questions besides pottying?
That's what I talk about all day.
Well, it's good. I'm glad we asked. So this heaviness feeling, I know you talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
That can be a number of different problems that a woman might have if they have a heavy feeling down in their
So, I mean, like I said, it doesn't have to be like a baby issue or something like that. Like, just as women, like, we typically go through these hormone cycles once a month. So things are going to get lax, things are going to get tight, things are going to get a little bit, off kilter of our normal day. And if we're not using the good muscular support to kind of help us through our day, at the end of the day or a long day, you're going to feel a little heavy, maybe in your pelvic area. It could just be the ligaments, it could be possibly a prolapse, it could just be a lot of muscular, instability.
Yeah. Well, because I think a lot of women probably have that and don't even realize it. So I think that's good to know. And so just some simple exercises probably can be taught to them. So
and like I said, it's not just just the pelvic floor. We're looking at the core. We're looking at the the lateral walls, your back. A lot of people that have back pain or different incisions from even like just gallbladders or intestinal surgeries or C-sections, things like that. Like there's a lot. Scar tissue can,
So I may have to come see you, Kelly, because I did have a hysterectomy 20 years ago, but it was a partial, so I've had quite the scar.
Yeah.
And it changes as you get older.
Yes.
And I definitely have some instability issues, so I might be
scar tissue. We can work on it at any time. Yeah, and if you want,
I never would have considered that.
Yeah, my email is kelly.frank@adventhealth.com. But scar tissue. I love working on scar tissue.
I never would have
considered
that. My goodness.
Yeah, we have to own up to your scars, whatever kind of scar they are, knee scar, shoulder scar, whatever it is. But it's different tissue, so we want to make sure that it's working and moving properly wherever that is on the body. Even with knee patients I've worked with or shoulder patients, especially any kind of abdominal incisions, you have to think about what's underneath it. And how that scar tissue is kind of growing, almost like little, like if you pick up a plant, it's like all those little like white roots. Yeah, it kind of grows in.
Really?
Yeah, you want to break it up. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to be emailing right away. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I'll wait till the race is over.
Okay.
Yeah. But we're super excited about Saturday.
Yeah.
AdventHealth is coming out. They'll have all their tents and all their therapists and docs there for the ladies to visit.
Yes.
The event is at Lock Haven, so it's really close to Track Shack. We still have openings. So ladies, come down, register, or go online, trackshack.com to register. I'm wearing the shirt for this year's race. There's some really pretty flowers, and it's a pretty purple color.
And you get a cool medal.
And you get an awesome medal, yeah. So AdventHealth, Lady Track Shack. Yeah, isn't that nice? It's really pretty. Special little ribbon. And what's really neat about this race, which is really an event more than a race, because we encourage walkers, runners, everybody. We have a lot of survivors, breast cancer survivors that are participating. Yeah. And it's a really feel-good time for them, for their families. And when they cross that finish line, we've got a nice little gift for them. And we're really celebrating them on Saturday.
We need to.
Yeah, absolutely.
You celebrate them every day.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm excited because I've got my mom, my sister, my daughter, my granddaughter, and some of their friends are all coming to do it. Yeah, it'll be a fun day. So, so any more questions? Ladies? One more question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know I'm looking funny, but it is hard to see far away.
Let's see. Are there any exercises we should be doing every day besides the So
that's a great question.
Yeah, and I mean it kind of depends on what's going on. Is somebody especially our runners, like I think even giving them a really good stretching routine.
Oh, I'm big on
which kind of sounds like the opposite of any kind of strengthening. With those hip flexors, they're tight,
Yeah, and we sit or stand most of the day, so we're never really spreading our hips.
No,
it's
so we're never in like that fully kind of extended position. So
I like to tell our customers too, the women that ask those stretching questions, do you stretch in the morning, do you stretch at night? You got to stretch a little bit to warm up, but at night is a great time to stretch, right before you go to bed.
Or whatever works for you.
Wake up feeling better.
Yeah, I'm not too picky. I tend not to be super adamant on any of my exercises or stretches. I'm just happy if you do anything. So
that's good.
Stretch whatever you can,
and then
you
cables you could do, before you get out of bed in the morning too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, that's definitely part of my homework. If that's what
good.
We want to call for.
Good. I might get an A if I come see you.
Yeah, you get an A.
All right, so ladies, thanks for tuning in. We really had fun tonight with our Facebook Live, and we hope we answered some questions that you might have felt uncomfortable asking. Kelly is a wealth of information, anything with pelvic health or running injuries, but feel free to email her, kelly.frank@avmed. AdventHealth. Where did I get that from? AdventHealth.com. Yeah, and then come to Track Shack, register for our event Saturday.
Yes. Come out and run. Come out and
have
walk.
a great
Come out and just
time.
support. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Live video now. You'll be able to